make them live.
Commander, you're live.
Yeah, but it's not 2 minutes.
No, you're live now.
Captain of the Color Guard, please advance and post the colors. Hand salute.
Yard, out, right face, post, colors, present arms.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready, two, left face, forward, march. Yard, out, forward, arms.
Uncover. Stan Malden, would you please come up and offer prayer?
Let's bow our heads in prayer again. Heavenly Father, come to you again tonight to continue to give you thanks for everything that you do for this postmaster. That you continue to be with us during this meeting and bless our elected officers to do your will and to help this post continue to grow and continue to do good things. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Recover. Join me in reciting the American Legion preamble. For God and country, we associate ourselves together for the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to maintain law and order, to foster and perpetuate 100% Americanism, to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in all the worlds, to inculcate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation, to combat the hypocrisies of both classes and masses, to make right the master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit to posterity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, to consecrate or sanctify our comradeship by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. I now declare the American Legion Post 233, Department of Georgia, regularly convened. Because the adjutant is out of state on a previous commitment, I will ask a finance officer if we have a quorum.
We have.
The finance officer will provide a
On January the 3rd, we opened with all due process, posting of colors, pledge of allegiance, prayer, and the American Legion preamble. There was a quorum present. The minutes of the previous meeting were approved. The commander gave us some general updates, recognized the past commanders that were here who could be here. The finance officer presented finances report as appropriate. As of right now, we have 358 renewals. This is ahead of myself, I know. 358 renewals, 28 new, and 26 that are for life. So that gives us a 412 total amount of members at the post. This will be saved.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as published and read?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
The motion has been accepted and seconded. Post commanders report recognize the past commanders who are present. Stan Malden,
Thank you, Commander.
Bill Dolan, Tom Williams.
Thanks, sir.
Distinguished visitors tonight, the 10th District Commander, Ricky Bow. Please stand. The Loganville Mayor, Skip Bayless. Please stand, nobody knows you. We have a visitor, a United States Navy veteran by the name of Adam Lopez. Adam, would you please stand? Rise. We also have in our presence tonight some riders from the NAMS Knights of America, and I've asked the gentleman to come up and explain his organization.
Not big on microphones, so if anybody has a hard time hearing me, just let me know. I try to be a little boisterous, my voice. We are the Nam Knights Motorcycle Club, Nam Knights of America. We are a veterans organization, Veterans Motorcycle Club. We raise money for veterans charities. We also allow police officers in our club, and we raise monies for police officers charities. We recognize fallen veterans, we recognize fallen police officers. We do things like funeral escorts, welcome home rides for veterans coming home, deceased and alive. We do a lot of things for vets. Recently we did, there was a child that moved here. His father was a special forces instructor up in Ellijay.
Yep.
Up in Ellijay, and he had a son, was turning 4, and it was during COVID, so the kid couldn't have a birthday party. So it got out through different motorcycle groups that he loved motorcycles. So the Nam Knights organized a ride to Ellijay for the family. The kid came out and got on the motorcycles, and we gave him a little vest with a dragon, which is our center patch. So we gave him a little vest with a little dragon on it, a couple of little patches on his vest so that he could be one of us. And then 6 or 8 months later was his younger brother's birthday, so we kind of had to do it again. The kid couldn't have a party because of COVID and everything, and they had just PCS'd to this area. So as kind of a, little thing for the family, we did that ride. We are expanding to this area. We are currently in Statham, Georgia and Sugar Hill, Georgia. We are waiting on final approval from our parent chapter to expand a chapter to the Loganville, Walton County area, greater Walton County area. So we wanted to come here tonight and We're going to be planning on joining this Legion, but we also wanted to discuss the possibility of using a space in the Legion for a meeting room. We don't need a big space. We were looking at the Patriot Grill. I don't know if the Cub Scouts building back there has got any room in it. I know that you rent this hall out often for events and weddings and such. So obviously this would be about 5 times the space that we would need. But if we did have events, we could also rent the hall and bring business to the Legion as well. We do, currently, the Statham chapter does a car show. They do 2 annual parties a year that bring chapters from all across the country to the area. We have open house once a month for other clubs, other chapters, Legion riders. Some from the Statham Legion come out to the clubhouse for that. So these are all things that we would be trying to do here as well, to generate revenue, generate business for this Legion as well, if it could work, if it would work out. When I spoke to the commander a couple weeks ago, he had asked me to come tonight to discuss this with the body so that it could be proposed, because obviously it would require a vote from the body of whether or not we could meet here. So that's why we wanted to come out tonight. Again, I joined the Legion this post tonight. The other 2 brothers here are members of a different Legion. We're going to be transferring them to this Legion. So again, we're all about supporting our supporters, those that support us. So that's kind of why we came out tonight, to just kind of introduce ourselves, let you know what we're about, what we do. We do work with other charitable veterans organizations as well. I met the gentleman that works with the homeless veterans a couple weeks ago, and I met him again tonight. That would be something we'd definitely be interested in supporting. Another thing that we have kind of kicked the idea around is a scholarship fund. We would like to be starting a scholarship fund for Walton County students that could apply through us. We would review the applications. Preferably, we'd like to see somebody that wants to go to an ROTC program. But if there's nobody that's doing that, we could then look at other candidates for a scholarship fund. But these are just a few of the things that we do, a little bit of information about us. If anybody has any questions about us, love to answer them. If you are nervous about asking questions now, you feel free to see any one of the 3 of us after the meeting or anytime you see us out and about. We do ride quite a bit, and we are in this area quite a bit. I currently live in Covington, so I come through here all the time. Thanks very much for your time, gentlemen. I appreciate it. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to approach any one of us after the meeting.
Thank you very much. The district news, there's a district meeting next month, and I'm sure that the commander will address that next month. The department news, I don't have anything on that. The Legion National News, the 2022 annual report, which is quite lengthy, is available at legion.org if you're so interested. I have the finance officer give the finance report.
All right, good evening. There are finance reports that are back there on the table where you came into the room. I hope you picked one up. And at the end of January, we had $31,890.90 in our checking. And we currently have the following balances in our checking: is $27,873.26 in savings, $1,131.14. And our total amount comes to $29,004.40. Our line of credit is back up to $75,000. I did a cover page for this, and I'll kind of go over it so that the folks that are at home can know what I wrote. So, I know that as you're looking at this reports each month that I give to you, it can be somewhat confusing. So I took the lead of, for those of you who are not here, I'll explain. I took the lead or the advice of one of our members. And I've listed on our P&L from most to least in both profit and loss. So it will be easier for you to kind of determine what's going on so far as what makes the most money, what costs us the most. And you can also find in there, this is just the general P&L, the standard P&L of profit and loss. So you can kind of determine for yourself which is of the most interest to you. So there's some clarification that I am giving you. The clover is our point of sales. That's where everything is purchased. So the clover is going to be income. And it could be income for the bar and grill, or it could be income for bingo. Each of those will come to me. It is done on a credit card. The charger is going to come to me with a code, and I know what the code is, and so that's how I enter it into QuickBooks. So you can say, oh, okay, this came from this location. We also, as a part of the things that are on the clover, are things that don't have to do with food or drink. And that's like if people pay their memberships, and I wish if you paid your membership using our Clover system that you would please bring that receipt to Roy, our adjutant, or give it to me and I'll give it to Roy, because sometimes it gets kind of left off, because all we see is the numbers, and it's rather vague when all we see is the deposits that come to our bank account electronically from the Clover. Since bingo is on there, we don't see anything on that particular code but bingo. That's it. So the problem with the Clover and paying your membership dues and all this other stuff, and we're not the only ones that pay our membership dues on Clover. The SAO uses it, and so does the Ladies Auxiliary. And when they use it, then I have to write them a check to go back into their account for their. So it's just be sure that when you use that for your paying of dues, that you bring it to us. A little explanation about COAM. COAM is found in both the profit and the loss. That's because we get money in from COAM. And COAM, if you want to consider this, is the game machines. It's not bingo. The game machines are the ones that are in here, and there's two in the bar. And the game machines have got their own immediate payout, let us say. So if someone comes to us with a ticket, then we give them off of their gift card maker, we'll give them the amount of that particular winning that they have gotten. Then there's the other COAM expense, and that is one that we pay weekly. And that's for whatever is our share that we have to pay for the game machines. But the COAM pertains to the game machines. And I know that sometimes that can be really confusing. It's all kind of under the umbrella of the lottery, but it's something that's reported to the state, and we actually have that. When you see that on that, you have at the bank, and it says COAM in there, we have to maintain that all the time. And they take the money out of it, whether I want them to or not. And it's like, well, how can you have this and you have it the same name for both coming in and going out? So I hope that will have some clarity. And there's one thing that does not show up on this standard P&L, and it's listed underneath expenses, and it says donations. Well, this month it says $200. Well, that's our Alm Springs donation that we do every month of $100. And sometimes, it overlaps, and it ends up with two, particularly if it's a very long month. It's supposed to come out the first, and so depending on how the days of the week fall with the numbers in the month, that's how it all works. But that donations is down there. This particular month of $200 is is for Alm Springs. If I gave you, and I have up here the detailed P&L, and you would see on that exactly where every single of these things go. Now let's turn over to something that you need to look at. It's about 3 pages back, and it says Clover Revenue Item Sale. This shows you what is going in through the Clover, and it also shows some things that are not going to show up because it's in the line items like rentals. It's there, but it doesn't show up from the bank. I have to go into the Clover and I have to read it. Now this is just a printout of last month. It's not the detailed printout, obviously, because it doesn't have all of the sandwiches listed and all that other stuff. But it's got it listed here, and I asked for it to do it from top to bottom, and it does it anyway, from high to low. So you can see where in this particular month, and remember this is just this month, in this particular month, where our most income was obtained. And you can see all that for yourself. And I invite you to take the time and the interest in seeing how all this puzzle fits together to make a complete picture of what's going on with our post financially. If I were to stand up here and give you a whole bunch of stuff just on what I think you need to know, then that would limit you to your own curiosity about, well, where does this money come from? And how does it work? And again, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about this stuff and help you understand all this that we have here. Unless there's no further questions, are there any questions about any of this stuff that I've presented to you? If not, then Mr. Vice Commander, that's my report.
I have to regress. As I was sitting back there, and we made a motion and a second on the minutes. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Is there a motion to accept the finance report as read pending audit?
So moved.
All right, there's a second? Second. All in favor, right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. That's strike one for me tonight, but that's okay. We'll get into the committee reports, post operations and membership. Roy, would you give that to us?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay.
Can we do it again? No.
Is there a representative from the Legion Riders here? We'll give a report.
Yeah.
Yes, you may.
I do not have a Legion Riders report. But what I do have for the Legion Riders, they brought up a scholarship a few minutes ago. This is your reminder that our scholarship here for Corporal Ayers, and his picture is in the grill, is open right now, right? And so if you have a senior in your life, a child, a grandchild, a niece, a nephew, great-niece, great-nephew, that lives in Walton or Gwinnett counties in Georgia, it is an essay scholarship. The prompt is up on our website. Please have them do that as soon as possible. Thank you.
If you would stand there, and we'll get into public information website.
So their public information website, we've had several outside the sign, we've done several updates to that. We've done some website updates. Notably, I owe Jerry some updates for the blood drives. Mike has been, oh, that was a face. Mike has been pestering me about that, which is good because I need that pestering. And Mike today also started putting up some things about this meeting. And so we're trying to get some coordination. As my work life has gotten busier, we're trying to get some more people involved. I am planning on turning over the website. For those of you that have gone, I appreciate your patience. It doesn't always get updated as much as it should. We have a volunteer who is website savvy and retired. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Legislative too already?
Knock it out.
Oh, well, hang on, I gotta get that. One more
Motion's been,
All right, legislative. So for those of you that don't know, Ray Martinez, who is used to be our mayor, and now is one of our state representatives. Ray sent to a bunch of us who have been commanders here or are commanders here recently and let us know he has been appointed to the Georgia State House Veterans Committee.
Yay.
Right? And so if you have a problem, call Ray. But hopefully that will lead some things. So there are some things, some current bills that I want to bring to your attention. For those of you that don't know, when you go and you look for bills that are currently affecting veterans, there are routinely in the Senate 12 to 24 bills, and in the House there are many dozens, right? The House is a big body. So I've tried to pick out some things that are the most important here. Currently, U.S. Senate Bill 132. That is a bill to require a pilot program on activities under the pre-separation transition process of members of the armed forces for a reduction in suicide among veterans and for other purposes. Everything ends with "and for other purposes" so they can stick pork in there. The important thing about this bill, and this again is Senate Bill 132, is it is to try to bring members of the service into the VA as they separate. Who here had a VA representative or a service officer in your separation briefing? No one, right? And so they've recognized that this is a problem, that we have veterans who are getting out and don't understand what their VA benefits are. Even though they might hand you a pamphlet or something, there's not that active process. Our own service officer has been very clear, and he's trying to get in with the Georgia State National Guard to try to do this kind of thing. But there is a Senate bill to make this an official pilot program of the VA to go out and do outreach as people are separating. U.S. Senate Bill 55, the Vacant Act. This one's interesting only because it limits the detailing of directors of medical centers to other positions within the VA. This is rampant, right? When you are the director of a VA medical center, generally you are a pretty high grade in the government rank. And what happens is these people get detailed all the time to other positions in the VA to fill vacancies. And when that happens, that leaves that facility without a director. And so the Senate is working to try to tamp that down and limit the number of directors of VA medical centers that can be detailed to other things in the VA. So that's an important thing to watch. In the House, there's a resolution 815. This just is working to expand your community care, right? For those of you that are using the VA for your medical, many of you know that if the VA doesn't offer a service or they can't offer it in a timely fashion, you may be sent to a local doctor under the community care. This is working to expand that. Okay, so those are some things, if this list will be in the minutes. There are lots of others. If you want to know about it, let me know, and we can point you to some of the things that are going on. I will also point out tonight that it's the State of the Union address, and I want to offer you some personal advice. Do not watch the State of the Union address. Drink some bourbon and go to sleep. Tomorrow morning, get up. There'll be lots of places you can read the transcript of the State of the Union address, and that comes, and it says in parentheses, applause. And it doesn't take 45 minutes of applause. And so you can read the entire State of the Union in about 5 minutes. So do not watch it, read it, but do pay attention to what's said because it's going to be important over the next several years. And that, my friends, is the legislative report. Thank you, your temporary lordship.
Gary Owens. Blood Drive, Color Guard, Jerry Mahaffey.
Our next blood drive is this coming Thursday. That's like the day after tomorrow. So we got all appointments filled, so hopefully they'll all come and donate. A little history here, our blood drives here, we started this blood drive here in 2005. And since then, we've had 68 drives with 3,183 units. And I want to thank everybody that's participated in all this. Thank you so much. And The color guard, we've had 4 events since our last meeting.
The next topic is kind of a important one in my book, and it has to deal with the maintenance, buildings, and grounds. How many times has someone stood up here and said, "I'd like to get a volunteer to help Mike do the maintenance, building, and grounds"?
105.
And how many people have responded? I think you know the answer. I'll give an update. Down in the pavilion, we had an ice machine that was Tango uniform, and it was repaired. So it's spitting out ice as we speak, whatever use that we need it now, that we have 2 operating ice machines. There's also the toilet facilities down there. They repaired 5 leaks, so it looks like there was a gun battle that took place in the ladies' and gentlemen's bathroom down there, knocking holes in the wall, trying to get all the leaks repaired. It's really important for somebody to step up and give the current commander some help in building the grounds and maintenance.
Salary report, same.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you tall people, I tell you. Special events. We've got the blood drive coming up on the 9th. We've got Dancing Through the Decades dance coming up on March the 18th. We've got Gun Talk coming up on April the 15th. We have a flea market and craft fair coming up on May the 20th. I could just go on and on and on and on and on. If you look back at the table back there, there's a whole list of all of these events. Please take the time to look at them, and there's something that we're doing here that you're interested in. So come and be a part of the Legion. Okay, I won't beat that horse to death. For the Sons of the American Legion, our finances, we have $1,512.47 in the bank. Anybody that would like to make a donation, please see Mr. Jack Stewart right over there. He'll be happy to take your money.
Raise your hand, Jack. Thank you.
Membership, we have 31 current members. We only need 2 more to reach 100%. So if you know some people that are eligible for the Sons of the Legion, please send them our way. We'd be happy to sign them up. We had 8 members out of 31 at our post meeting tonight. That's a pretty good turnout. And to help the commander, the spring conference for the Department of Georgia is at the Sonesta, March 25th and 26th. So if you're planning on going, those would be the dates. Thank you. Matt.
Thank you, Bill. Membership's $15 in the SAL. Okay? I don't need to say anything more. The Vector Committee, the Veterans Outreach, Veterans Connection Outreach, we don't have anything to report on that except for, I think it's time that we request a formal report from Operation Rally Point on the status of the veterans that we drafted into that program from this facility. So I'm going to request that, I'm sure that the commander will back me up, that we send a request to Operation Rally Point and get a written report for the next month's meeting. I believe it's important that we receive periodic updates on those veterans. Paul Williams, Children, Youth, Schools, and Champs.
No change.
No change. Strike 2, VSO, sorry.
back up here.
One more strike and I'm going to have to turn the mic over.
One more strike and it's a home run. Good morning. 75 years ago, Omar Brad. Yeah, okay, let's get to the other stuff. The VSO, the account, we have zero money in it. Yeah, my office over in Operation Riley Point. Did a little over 300 phone consultations or question and answer sessions. I did one Home Depot Foundation grant for $3,800. Got a gentleman basically a ramp instead of stairs, and they had to redo the front porch. It was like dry rotting in. So they redid all that. I know we have, just from members here, I think I have 3 that are in the works. The American Legion has a new program that they're pushing. It's called Be the One. It has to do with destigmatizing mental health. So I want to bring it to everyone's attention. I work with a counselor that's local. His name's Danny Shoemake. If you're part of the community care program, he files your paperwork through Optima, and there's no charge. So as much as I say this to all of my clients, and if any of you, and I think most of y'all in this room have sat down with me, I always go over the mental health as being the elephant in the room. It's something that we as warriors don't want to openly admit to. Sometimes we think it's exclusive and it's just my problem, but I can tell you it's not, okay? It's something that we all generally share, all right? And we can get together in support groups and talk about it and stuff like that. But if you need that one-on-one conversation with somebody, if you just need an ear, you got my phone number. But if you need somebody that has true medical training that will help you logically put that puzzle together, let me know and I'll make sure that you have Danny's phone number, okay? I'm already scheduling all the way out. I think tonight I scheduled out to the 15th of March. So if you need me, if you need to set up an appointment, need to get with me, I'm running over a month out now, and that's pretty much 6 days a week, all right? Working with Stan on the gun talk stuff, so I'll be helping the former guy with the website as far as getting some stuff out on the social media about that kind of stuff. If you guys have any questions to me, I think everybody's just back on my business card. Give me a call during the day. If I don't answer, please leave a message and I'll call you right back. And that is my report.
Back to Paul Williams, 40 and 8.
Okay.
No report. Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, Matthew Clifton, please.
Sorry, I sent him an old thing.
Garbage in, garbage.
Line for their Eagle projects. They're going to be doing pavilions. One's doing one of the middle schools. It's going to be a sustainable project. Help education at the school. For those of you that drink beer out of cans, soda out of cans, call it pop, whatever you want to, the Girl Troop. They are trying to collect as many cans as possible. This is one of their fundraisers they're doing. The more money they make, the more camps that can go on, the more equipment they can buy. End of the month, we have 5 scouts that will move up from Cub Scouts into Boy Scouts. 4 of them will stay at the Legion. One's going down the road somewhere. In maintenance, I'm not volunteering for it. Heard that right?
I got your name.
No.
We know who you are.
No. But if someone can do maintenance, it would be greatly appreciated. I know on the Cub Scout level, Boy Scout level, I'm probably in their office every week. We have some sort of issue over there, whether it's a leak, electrical, or the HVAC unit. So if someone can step up and do that, that would be great. They're probably tired of hearing me about leaks, electrical.
Yep. We're looking at it.
Every time I'm at duty.
I bug him every week. So that is my report for tonight. Any questions?
Sea Cadet Steve Malbandian. Now you know, Steve, what it's like to be volunteered.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Albanti. I'm the new executive officer of the Naval Sea Cadet 200 kids so far. But Jeff DeVries brought up a good idea earlier in the evening of having a youth thing here, sponsored here at Legion, to let them come up and sign up for Boy Scouts, baseball, whatever, get these kids something to do. Kids are very encouraged. We started doing a woodworking project down in space, or they're building a keepsake box to keep their ribbons and awards and stuff in. They're operating the power tools, or they're doing everything. We're just highly supervised and fully trained with all PPE and everything, so everybody's worried about that. So they're doing a lot of manual work with it too, sanding, and they're gonna put these boxes together. There's no nails, no fasteners. So it's something that they're gonna be proud of. They also have a maintenance issue down there, no heat. There's some electrical issues we talked about. So I can help out with that if y'all need me as a consultant, because I'm kind of old and ragged to do all that anymore. But anyways, that's our report. We'll be doing a camping trip with the kids for the Sea Cadets. I think the Still Air Patrol is going to join in. That'll be the March 31st to April 2nd down at Hartley Creek. So we're going to do some field ops and field exercise for them. So it'll be teaching some life skills. That's my report.
Speaking of the Civil Air Patrol, is Captain Stribling here? Okay, moving right along. John Spudik, how about the VA's volunteer services?
No report.
No report. Situation's still normal. They're not taking, what John does is collect magazines and books and takes them to the VA so they can be utilized at the hospital.
We're not allowing any volunteers into the VA hospital here.
Thank you, John. Historian Steve Lindgren.
I have completed a post-history section on what Post 233 did to advance the city of Loganville. I am planning to add a post-history section on how the COVID pandemic affected our post operations and our membership. I'm updating the post history list of all post commanders. I'm also updating the post history list of Legionnaires of the Year. And that's my report.
Health Equipment Lending Program, any activity, Tom?
So a few weeks ago, I got to go to West End down in Atlanta. It was my first trip to West End. We had a veteran, the VA moved him from a facility that they had him into a house down there. And the doors weren't wide enough for his wheelchair to go into the bathroom. And so he called me, and then his VA caseworker called me and said, "Can you help?" And I said, "Sure." And so I talked to the gentleman and figured out he could pull himself along with his feet, which means we could use a transport chair, which if you've seen a transport chair, they don't have the outer wheels, and so they're much narrower. And so I drove one down there to West End and delivered it to him, and it still wasn't narrow enough for the door. And it's the narrowest chair you can get if you don't get a child's chair. And I'm just pointing this out because the VA put him there. And so his representative called the VA, and their answer was they came out and took the door off the frame so that he could get that transport chair in there. But we are continuing to provide durable health equipment to members and to other people in the community that need them. I do have some furniture coming in soon that I'm actually going to turn around out through our partner with Operation Rally Point. But if you have or need durable medical equipment, please reach out and let me know. And that can include everything from, we don't need hospital beds at this time, we have 2. And we try to keep a thing, but so if you have, wheelchairs, if you have especially shower chairs, potty chairs, we do a fair business in those things. We've turned a couple of those in the last few months. If we get more than we need, we work with the Lions Club actually, and we turn some of that around to FODAC, the Friends of Disabled Adults and Children in the Atlanta metro area. And so we are continuing that business. But again, I wanted to point out to you that the VA's answer to this man's problem was to take the door off his bathroom, which I'm still floored by.
That's called VA math.
Yeah, so anyway, thank you, that's that.
Are there any other committee reports I may have missed? If so, that would be strike 3, so don't raise your hand. The next item that I want to talk about, I don't know where to put this, but yesterday when I was on duty, there was a message on the answering machine from a Gregory Taylor. He's a disabled veteran that has been moved, or he moved from Snellville to Madison. This gentleman has a storage unit in Snellville. He's in a wheelchair. He's asked for assistance to see if somebody would drive and take his items that are in his storage unit here and transport them to his current residence in Madison. His name's Gregory Taylor. His telephone number, if you're interested, come and see me and I'll be happy to provide that to you. He will pay for the trailer, but he needs some people to empty his storage shed. And I think he said he needed a medium trailer, but anyway, he wants to move that equipment from Snellville to his current residence in Madison. Get into new business. We're going to bring up a representative from the Lions Club, Chuck, to come up and talk about the future casino night to be proposed to be held at this post. Chuck?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invite. My connection to the Army was one of your members of this association. He's now at Fort Sam in San Antonio, Texas. And I say hi for him. That's Michael Lynch, okay? Son. The Lions Club in Loganville would like to, in a cooperative effort with you guys and ladies, create a casino night. Casino nights are done all over the country. There are actually 3 companies that are close to Loganville here. One is as close as Winder that do this. And the point of the casino night is to raise monies. The second point is to have a good time. And the third is to replicate in this hall where we are seated right now, a imitation of Las Vegas. We would propose a plan and split the profits down the middle with you guys and ladies, with the exclusion of, I think it's only fair you should have all the receipts from the bar. Because people like to gamble, even with play money, seem to like to drink at the same time. We think that would be fairly lucrative. Speaking for the Lions Club, we owe you a thank you. You allowed us to sell our pecans over the last 3 months at your bingos. We sold the last bag Sunday afternoon. Passed. We sold over 4,000 bags for fundraising. And finally, a piece of news that nobody's heard yet, but I'd like to tell you about it. We'll be meeting on the 14th of February, which is a week from tonight. And one of the items on the agenda for that particular meeting for our board is to create a plan to give you a monthly contribution from Loganville Legacy Lions Club. We do it for other charities, and we think you're more than able and capable and have the numbers, frankly, to make good use of that money. Finally, if you ever want to see us in action this past calendar year, we were at Bojangles 123 days. I didn't misstate that. We were there 123 days. Every weekend, plus all the typical holidays, all the 3-day weekends on Mondays, all the national and military holidays. So I thank you very much for the opportunity. The timeline for the casino night will most likely be in August. You get more and more details as they become available, and we look forward to it. Personal note and closing note, you guys and ladies are heroes. You don't always get enough credit for that, but from Legacy Lions Club, you sure do. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you, Chuck. Is there anything for the good of the order?
Sorry. God, just give him a mic at his desk.
So it came up, there was an ask about Operation Rally Point, and for a written report, which I think is perfectly appropriate. But I do have a verbal report if you would like that for tonight.
Go ahead.
So as many people here know, I am now on the board of directors for Operation Rally Point. And we had our first board meeting last week, and we went over the financials. I can report this from the monies that the Post is giving them. So currently there are 5 veterans that the Post helped move out who are now in apartments, not hotel rooms. They're being paid for out of the money that the Post helps donate. There are 3 people still in the Wits Inn that money is supporting, and those 3 people will be moving into apartments this month. Operation Rally Point did receive a $7,500 grant from the Walton Foundation. Did not receive the funds yet, but that money is coming through. And an additional apartment will be procured for 4 months to turn veterans into that apartment. And that part of that furniture that I talked about earlier will be going in there. And so they continue to use the money. Part of the issue with the funds, and Fritz, this will be near and dear to your heart. Part of the issue with the reporting is that their financial person set them up with the wrong kind of account, right? So their financial person is an old grunt, and set them up on what looks like a for-profit business account. So when they pull things in their QuickBooks, there are things that look like expenses. So when you look at it, it looks like they spent $188 on gas for company vehicles, when in fact that $188 actually went into the gas tanks of veterans who were trying, they were helping. And so as a organization, they're trying to fix that now, that chart of accounts, so that the roll-up matches a nonprofit organization, so that when they report, it actually looks appropriate to you. So that's the update from Operation Rally Point, and they are working on having a written report for next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Anything else for the good of the order, please?
Thank you, Mr. Commander. I'm James Walters, if you don't know me. Many of you in this room were at Tim Stewart's funeral home Sunday afternoon for Sue's memorial service. I was there also. And I just want you to know that I'm proud to have all of you that were there, and those that couldn't make it. Were thinking about Mike and Sue and their family. It was just real touching to me. Also, I'd like to mention at this time the Sea Cadets that were there in uniform. I think there were probably half a dozen or so. And they came marching in and were a part of that service by being there in their attendance. Thank you very much.
Anything else for the good of the order? Our next meeting is Tuesday, March the 7th, 2020, adjournment.
So moved.
Second. I've met my goal of getting out of here under 1 hour.
Yeah.
Captain of the Color Guard.
Flag of our country to remain place of honor, right hand salute. 2.
Uncovered.
We have before we go in prayer, not stepping on your toes, but we have the 10th District Commander here that you recognized. Do you have anything for us real quick?
We got the oratorical for area is at Jefferson this Sunday, starts at 2 o'clock. Right now, we've got one girl from Jefferson that's going to be from our district. I was up there a couple weeks ago. We had 3 from the district that attended, one from Monroe, one from Hartwell, and one from Jefferson. And the girl, hand down, took it over. She's really, really good. Hopefully she'll beat area, and maybe she'll go on and have somebody in the 10th, from the 10th district going to state. That's this coming Sunday at 2 o'clock up in Jefferson.
Commander, we appreciate you being here with this meeting and helping our officers conduct this meeting in a proper manner and achieving our goals. And we just ask that you continue to be with us. Continue to be with our military that's all over this world and bless them, keep them safe, and guide them home as soon as we can get them back to our shores. And we ask that you be with us on our way home tonight. Guide us, keep us safe, and keep us motivated for the next meeting. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Recover.